Gregorio! Antonio.
And
the Jim Norton Show starts now.
Well, welcome to the Jim Norton Show. I am no worse for wear after being choked by Chael Sonnen. And it really did hurt a little bit. Although he just walked by outside the studio. He was much nicer than a lot of people would expect him to be. And thank God I shaved. Because when someone's choking, you don't want to be unshaven. And I know you guys all shave, and, you know, your razor blade doesn't need a vibrating handle. It doesn't need a back scratcher. It doesn't need 10 blades. Seriously. Have you noticed the price you pay for new razor blades? It's how much? Is that in pesos or something? Double blades. And you're doing this every month for the rest of your life? This is your Dollar Shave Club moment. And it's time to join all the Opie and Anthony listeners who've discovered DollarShaveClub.com. Listen, here's what all the buzz is about. It's like found money. Who doesn't like found money? I like found money, too. Sometimes I'll be like, look, Ma, I found a nickel. And she'll say, Chipper, that's Lamar's. It fell out of his pants when he was pulling them down. All us guys want is a great shave without shelling out $20 month after month after month. Dollar Shave Club is genius. You'd be crazy not to do this. You send them a couple of bucks a month. A couple of bucks. How about a couple of doughs or something? And they deliver amazing quality razor blades right to your door. You save a fortune. Plus, you always have fresh blades on hand. If the blades are fresh, do you slap them for being fresh or something? This is easy. No more zombieing your face with old blades because you can't afford or you forgot to buy new ones. Join the rest of Opie and Anthony's listeners and get a great shave and keep your cash. DollarShaveClub.com. DollarShaveClub.com. Sorry, I butchered that. DollarShaveClub.com. I have used them, and they really are very good. And sometimes someone will say, Chip, but that was a close shave. Like if I almost get hit by a car or something. Fucking hilarious. Ooh, let's talk to Ryan in Long Island, who wants his, apparently your girlfriend's pussy, looks like a droopy dog mouth.
Yeah, Jim, how do I go about bringing this up to her? It's been something I wanted to do for a while.
Why? What's wrong with her pussy?
Because I mean, I love her, but I don't feel anything. It's horrendous.
So why don't you get a cock enlargement? Here's what you should do. First of all, I hate vaginoplasty or vaginoplasty, whatever they call it. I hate when you fuck with the pussy like that. I like it to be a natural. Shaved is fine, but I like a meaty one. I don't ask her. Do you want the lips made smaller or do you want it tightened up?
I want it tightened up, but I'm afraid what might happen to me after I ask her.
Well, then I don't know. Doesn't vaginoplasty or whatever? Doesn't that just make the lips smaller? Doesn't that just trim them up aesthetically?
I don't know. I'm not sure exactly what the medical term was for, but I would like her pussy tightened up.
Okay, ask her to do Kegels. I don't know. Ask her to do Kegels.
Right, but how do you think I should go approach her about this? Because I know there's a surgery to have it done, but how should I bring it up?
Well, ask her if she's enjoying the sex. Say, does it feel like? Put it on yourself. Say, does it feel like I'm filling you up properly? I feel like I'm not, and maybe just ask her like that. Like, hey, would you consider having something done to make it? Because I can't make my cock any larger, which I wish I could. Put it on yourself. Blame your inept dick. Blame it.
All
right.
I'm going to yell at it after I go to the phone.
Good boy. Take care.
Thanks, Jim.
What's up, Texas? Too young? How young is too young? Hello.
Hey, Jim. You and I are the same age, and I met this girl on this online BDSM website.
Good.
And she says she's 18, and I trust that she is.
Okay.
And she had a kid, and every now and again in our emails or texts or phone calls, she'll mention something about, her life and high school, because, she had to take a year out of high school, and, she's turning 19, upcoming in the summer.
Great.
But, could you go through with it, with a girl that young?
18?
still legal?
Absolutely. Yes.
Good to know. Great.
Yes, I could. It's legal. It's fine to do. Why not? I mean, again, the old corny military have a drink thing, there is truth to that. Because literally when someone's 18, we say that they're allowed to vote and they are allowed to join the armed forces, which means the government can send them into a situation where they will be shot in the head and killed. So if we as a society say 18 is old enough to go and do that, and we should say join the military, but you should break down what that really means. You're old enough to walk into a place in another country and be shot at and killed. You're old enough to fuck. That's my opinion.
I agree wholeheartedly. Thank you so much.
Okay. Yes, Georgia, who wants to talk about sobriety? Red.
Yeah, hi, Jim. It's a pleasure to be on the show.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to have you. And you can call the number. We don't have that many phone lines lit today, so maybe my live read beginning was a grave judgment error.
866-969-1969.
Thank you very much. Yes, go ahead, sir.
Well, hey, Jim. Basically, I wanted to get your advice on something because I recently quit drinking, 3.5 weeks sober.
Good.
It feels right, but I have to admit it's tough. And it's tough because, you're dealing with life in a different light and in a different manner. And recently I was denied to a school that I applied for, and a woman who I'm talking to is no longer speaking to me. It's things like this that are really stressing me out in a different way. And I guess I'm just looking for advice as to, how you can cope with this while maintaining sobriety. I exercise a lot. I do my best to take care of myself, but sometimes my emotions still get the best of me.
Well, that's normal, and don't forget you've only got 3 weeks of experience compared to years of experience at handling it the other way. So they say being sober is about handling life on life's terms. When we clean up, we quit drinking and drugging, things inevitably do get better. But there's also, where they say the shit hits the fan when you're drinking and getting high, and you have to clean it up when you're sober. You got, a minefield of shit that's got to be cleaned up and straightened out. Life doesn't all of a sudden stop throwing problems at us because we're not drinking. But we do handle it differently, much more responsibly, much better, with more dignity. So these things, and again, the more you do it, the longer you're sober, the more sober experiences you have to build on and to look back on and to reference, the easier it gets and the more comfortable it gets. So just realize that. That's my advice for right now. Just sometimes it's going to be tough in the beginning, but just realize it obviously gets much better. And with the experience, you learn how to handle it. So the next time it comes up, you now have a sober reference point, which is this time. But, first time you're doing anything is always a little harder.
Absolutely, Jim. I completely understand. Well, hey, look, thanks a lot for everything you do. I mean, it's so awesome just to have a show where you treat callers with respect and you do seem to consider their problems. So
hey, really shut up! Thank you, buddy. Thanks for calling. And good luck, man. That's a common thing when people get sober. They, this guy is saying, problems, how do you handle them? And, emotionally, you still get a little fucked up, and that's very much a part of it. But, there's that part of us that likes to stay unhealthy. So when you have a problem when you're sober, there's that little sick fucking voice that goes, see, it's not worth it. Doesn't get any better. Just sabotage it. But don't listen to that little voice. That little voice is shitty. So good luck, my friend. All right, let's see. Danny in Florida, lucky boy, started seeing a girl who's making more money than him. Good.
How's it going, Jim?
I'm good, Danny. How are you?
I'm doing all right. I've been seeing this girl now about 7 months.
Cool.
And just to give you a backstory, I'm about a little over a year clean now. I had a prescription painkiller problem.
Okay.
Tried sobriety a couple times, but I've really kind of started my life back over. I'm 30 years old, and for about 7 months now, I've been seeing this girl, and, she's about my age, but, she never got into drugs and isn't an addict, and she's got her life all together, man. She makes a ton of money. She owns a beautiful home. I rent a room in a 3-bedroom house. And just all the time now, her friends are all lawyers, doctors. I just feel like, I'm either a fraud or, I'm inadequate. And eventually she's just going to, the good sex isn't going to, pay the bills. And she's going to leave me for someone who makes more money.
Yeah, it's just male ego, and I understand that. We all have it because, our roles in society are that men are the providers and women, kind of the homemakers. So women feel threatened by younger women and better-looking women, and men feel threatened by stronger or more masculine guys or guys that provide better. But you have to realize if she likes you and she's with you, she knows she can get a guy who makes more money than you, especially if she makes more money. So that should prove to you that she likes you. Because when you're with a girl and you're making a boatload of money and she's making nothing, you never really know how much of it is that she loves you or how much is dependency. But if you're renting a room somewhere and she's got money, then you should feel comfortable knowing she absolutely likes you because you're not bringing that stereotypical thing where you make more money than her. So enjoy it even more now. She really likes you. She really likes you. If she wanted a guy who made more money, she'd find that. Women always know they can find a guy who makes more money. That's not a challenge to a woman. She makes money, so that's not what she needs. So you're providing something that she needs. Maybe it's a good ass eating. I don't know what it is, but you're providing something that a lot of these fucking lame dicks aren't. So just enjoy it.
All right. Thanks a lot, Jim.
All right. Take care. Let's see. Oh, good news. Darren in North Carolina called a month ago. Yes, Darren.
Hey, Jim, I appreciate your advice from, I called you about a month ago, and I have the opiate addiction myself. And I went cold turkey, locked myself in a room for about a week. That didn't really do it, but finally I just, I was able to just wean myself down and take smaller doses until I kicked it. And now it's been about 2 weeks. Not long, but it's been 2 weeks.
Oh, that's great. I mean, good for you, man. Are you doing anything? Are you talking to anybody, going to any meetings?
No, not really. I just stay focused, try to stay focused on my work. I own my own business. I'm a truck driver on my own truck, and just try to, keep my mind on that and my family. And so that's about it. But I want to tell you, thanks a whole lot, and everybody else that's been calling in with the same issues. It helps. All
right, buddy. You're welcome. I would suggest if times get tough, and there will be times where you think of it again. That's just human nature. You may want to look into 12-step programs. If you have it licked, you have it licked. But you may want to just to see if they serve you at all. But either way, I'm happy that you're doing something. So that's great, man. It's good to hear.
All right. Appreciate it. Later.
Take care. Let's see here. Did I get any weird vibes? Josh in Indianapolis. Did you get any weird vibes from the sex before fight comment? You mean with Josh? You mean from Chael?
Yeah. Jimmy, thanks for taking the call. When you guys were interviewing Chael in reference to sex before fight, the big fight, and all of a sudden he kind of clammed up and seemed kind of agitated and said, let's move on.
He wasn't agitated. I was sitting right next to him. He wasn't being a dick. Like, he wasn't trying to be. You have to realize that for me and for O&A, and, we're very comfortable talking about things. But Chael is a guy who talks fight. And he's aggressive when he talks fight, and he's not afraid of another man, and he's not afraid to talk shit. But for some guys, talking about sex is like, I don't know, like maybe he's a Midwestern guy, and maybe his mom he thinks is listening. Like, you know what I mean? I didn't take it like he was like, hey, fuck you guys, move on. Some guys, when you talk about that, just get a little shyer about it because they're not used to speaking about it publicly. So it could be something very simple like that. Like, he knows his mom or his aunt is listening, or he told them to listen. And, he'd be very embarrassed if his mom heard him talking about sex. It could have been something that simple. But I didn't get any shitty vibes, though, at all.
Okay, I didn't think about that. Just listening to you guys every day, you kind of get desensitized as a listener to all the sex talk, so it just seems commonplace. So
yeah, we forget it. We really, you're right, though, dude. We forget. Because for me as a comedian, too, it's so easy to open up and to talk. And for Chael, it is, too, about most things. But that might be something that he's like, I was raised a certain way, because you never hear him. He talks about, beating up on it. But then again, like, he's comfortable doing things I'm not. Like, I could talk about loads all day and fucking, taking shits and farts. But Chael can get into the face of a Brazilian jiu-jitsu black belt and say, I'm going to knock your teeth out and mean it. Like, so, his bravado is there, whereas mine is just talking about fucking, trannies. So I guess it all comes out in the wash. I would much rather have Chael's skills than my ability to just talk shit about my sex life. I would much rather be him and just be unafraid of other men. But thanks for the call. But no, I didn't get any weird vibes. But, again, you're right. We get a little desensitized here because we forget that regular guys don't talk about that all the time.
When you were talking about the mustache, he was talking about the mustache and bleaching it and made the Martin Mull reference, and you went right into pussy hair, and he's just looking at you like, I don't know where to go with this.
Yeah, and don't forget, though, because when Chael does interviews, even aggressive interviews, they're with like Ariel Helwani, or ESPN, or he's doing all these MMA or mixed martial arts. We're a weird show. Opie and Anthony is not a UFC show or an MMA show. It's a fucking comedy show that has these guys on because we love them. So when those worlds meet, at times you have odd moments. But it didn't feel uncomfortable, and Chael was smiling. See, again, that's what you can't see. But he was smiling, and like he was in a good mood, and I think he had a great time. But thanks for the call. Let's see here. Here we are. I saw Jim Marshall in Texas. I saw Jim last time he was in Austin. I was seeing him again. I'll just say, Marshall, thank you very much. You don't have any question, I guess, but I will say thank you very much for coming to Austin, and I appreciate it very much. Let's see, Daryl in South Carolina.
Come on, Jim.
Hi, buddy.
Hey, I got a once-in-a-lifetime career opportunity. I got a call yesterday. I can leave in 6 days, 5 days now, on a 4-month tour, entertainer coach. Don't know who it is, don't care. I drive a truck. I'm fucking miserable at my job, but I'm home every day. Got 2 small kids, a wife. I don't know what to do, man.
Wait, what do you mean, hold on, a 4-month trip with someone and you don't know who he is?
Yeah, it's an entertainer coach, driving the motor coach for bands or whatever.
An entertainer coach? So you would be driving it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Would you be getting paid for it?
Oh, yeah. Big money.
Oh, okay. I think you meant as an entertainer. So you're saying like you wouldn't be home for 4 months?
Well, unless the tour, happens to come through the house or something, but no.
Well,
for the most part, no.
Could you handle being away from your kids? Would your wife need you in that time period?
She's strong enough to where I think she can handle it. She told me to do it, but I know she's lying.
Well, how much more money is it?
I make maybe $60,000 now, working 6 days a week, working my ass off, 14 hours a day. I could probably make, in the 4 months, I could probably make 30.
So yeah, that's probably like a quarter or a third more than you normally make. I don't know, man. It's like, what's more important to you? Would you want to be away from your children and your wife for all that time? Do you really want to do this gig? Are you bored in your job?
I'm bored in life. This has been a dream of mine for years and never thought it would happen. I've been sending out resumes and letters for years.
Well, then why not do it? If it's something you want to do and you're not abandoning your family, you're doing it for work, why not do it? Sometimes breaking up the monotony helps, and you don't want to resent your family like a weekend going, oh, I should be out there, driving this truck. How would it hurt to do it?
Well, when I sat down with my oldest kid, he's 10, and he breaks down in tears, and I break down in tears. It's like, dude, I don't know that I can do this to them, But it's like, if I don't do it, I'm going to kick myself in the ass for the rest of my miserable fucking life.
Well, then I think you should do it. As long as it's not going to hurt your family financially.
No, financially, we'll be better off. We might actually get to enjoy life a little bit instead of just one day off a week we sit at the house because I have no money to do anything.
I would say do it, and the worst that is you don't like it and you come back and you just go back to your regular job.
Yeah, you're awesome, Jimmy. I love you.
Thank you, buddy. And tell your 10-year-old, toughen up. Daddy will be back. See you soon, buddy. See you soon. When am I going to see him? Dave in New York has a Tom Sizemore question. Yes. What do you, Rock? Did you want to say? I'm sorry.
No, I was just, people were writing on Twitter. If they can't call in, can they ask you their questions on Twitter, or are you just doing
Oh, yeah, I guess so. Sure.
Okay.
What's up, Dave?
Hey, Jim. First of all, these truck driver guys that are calling in, I'm in the business 30 years. Let me give them a little advice. If you're young enough and you can get out and you can make a better life and spend time with your family, do not hesitate. This is, when you get to my stage of the game where you're on the downhill pole and you look back at all those years and you're thinking about what you could have, should have, would have, be with your family.
Right.
And you're right. If you can't, then you can always, once you got that license and it's in good shape, you could come back. I wish I'd have done things a lot differently than I did.
Okay, cool.
Tom Sizemore. You mentioned it Monday morning about some backstory on Tom Sizemore. I'm not on the social media deal, so if it was on there, I didn't get it. I was just wondering, because that interview was, on this end, about one of the most uncomfortable things I ever heard.
Yeah, I was, a couple things were happening there. You know, I had been promoting, Tom was coming in. And, so of course, so had Ant and Hope, and, we'd all been talking about it. But he came in, he had to wait a few minutes. And I don't know if that made him in a weird mood, because we went a little long with Jason and Kevin, who were tremendous. I mean, they were telling great stories, and, it happens sometimes. And he came in a bit of a weird mood, and he wasn't really answering the questions, and it was uncomfortable. And then he and I had uncomfortable moments where he said, hey, don't interrupt me, Howard does that. And I was very, very close to getting into an extremely uncomfortable altercation. The reason I didn't was because I saw right after he said that, he was like, oh, but he's like, yeah, man, you got a bad temper. I'm sorry. I saw in his face, and again, this is what people can't always see, that he felt a little bad about it. And as he was talking for the rest of that few minutes, he was attempting to re-engage me. He wasn't being confrontational. After that, he was looking at me and trying to get me back into it, and he realized that had been not cool. And at the end of the interview, I ended the interview early, because we had Ricky Gervais outside, too. And I ended the interview early. And I didn't say, fuck you, get out. And then as the mic shut off, he goes, hey, man, I'm sorry about that. I wasn't trying to be anything. We shook hands. I'm like, no problem. And I just walked out of the studio, and I talked to Ricky. So Tom was getting murdered on Twitter. And apparently Tom and his manager came back after Ricky had already gone. I had just left. And Roland texted me and said, hey, Tom wants to apologize to you, or talk to you at least. So I called, and it was his manager. So his manager's like, look, Tom has been talking about this stuff, that he has not talked about before. This stuff with his marriage, and he goes, it's just been wearing on him. And it says he's having a bad day, and it's hard. And I do understand that from being sober, that sometimes the wreckage of your past gets to you. And so I talked to the manager. I was like, all right, well, I kind of wish it was Tom, but whatever. So an hour later, I checked my phone, and I realized I indeed have a message from Tom. And he left me about a minute and a half message, and it was very genuine. And he said, he apologized on Twitter, and he said, hey, man, look, he goes, I just wasn't on my game this morning. It was one of those things where it's just been a crazy week, and I guess talking this brought up a lot of feelings for him. And he goes, hey, man, I didn't realize that De Niro story was important to you. He's like, hey, it's important to me, too. And he was really nice, and I believed him. I don't think one thing Tom Sizemore is not is a Hollywood phony. He's just one of those guys. When you read the book, he says what he wants to say. And I completely believed his sincerity. So we texted, and he was very nice. And I called and left him a message. So that was it. That was the end of it. But it was just a weird moment. And I didn't want to make more out of it than I should have. Because it was like, hey, my feelings got a little hurt. But he didn't tell me to go fuck my mother. And I believed him when he said he was sorry. So that was it. It's done for me, and I loved his book, and I was happy that people stopped killing him on Twitter, because he was very sincere when he called me.
Okay, so it wasn't a Paris Hilton deal then?
No. And, part of the reason I kind of restrained was that Gervais's publicist, who owns his publicity firm, was with him. And not that it mattered, but I didn't want to have a screaming match with a fucking, a genius actor, when she did, if it wasn't necessary. And it obviously wasn't necessary, and I'm glad I didn't, because I really do admire Tom, and I'm happy he's sober. So, all right, thank you for the call.
Okay.
Be good, buddy. Mongo the Trucker, what's going on, my friend?
Jim. Hey, Jimmy.
How are you?
Good. Well, I keep putting up these things on Facebook in support of, marriage equality and all that kind of stuff. And,
sure.
And I get a friend of mine who I had known for a while, I worked with him, put up wrong is wrong according to the Bible, blah, 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 blah. And we get into these long, heated discussions. And finally, and I came out as bi on Ron and Fez a few weeks ago.
Okay.
And I'm now, it's been a part of my life all my life. But now I'm married to a wonderful woman. It's not a part of my life anymore. But the attraction is still there. it's always a part of you, even though it's not an active part.
So now she knows what you're thinking of when you turn her over on her stomach and you can't make eye contact. So now
Exactly. I go, well, it could be my wife, could be Bob. I don't know. Either way. We got into this pretty heated discussion, and here's a friend of mine saying wrong is wrong when he doesn't know that I'm bisexual.
Right.
And then we get into these long religious discussions. And I finally had enough of it, and I defriended him on Facebook, and he's texting and calling saying, what the fuck? And it's like, dude, you attacked part of my life when you didn't know it was a part of my life. And then you get pissed off when I start, because I'm also an atheist. I go after him, well, you believe in this, silly faith, whatever it is, and he defends it. And it's like, you can't attack somebody for what they like or what is a part of them, but then defend your part and not expect me to get upset. So the question is how far should I really cut this guy out of my life? I mean, he's been a friend, but, it's more the attitude over this whole argument is getting to be, like, really a pain in the ass.
I would have no ability to be friends with a person like that. And I'll tell you why. Not because he's religious. I really, as much as we shit on religion here, there's a lot of great, beautiful religious people. And I really mean that. Like that are sincere and brilliant and they care about people and they're not hypocrites. They're good people. And I have no issue with them at all. Or their belief system. Like, I don't even dislike people who don't like homosexuals. That's okay for them to feel that way. I don't agree with it, but I don't mind police people. But once they go out and they start, like, actively saying that homosexuals shouldn't have the same rights as other people, once they begin lobbying to make gays' lives less pleasant, then I develop a visceral hatred for them. It's the action. It's not their belief. So if this guy's not accepting you and you know he's being sincere and not accepting you or who you are, fuck him. Why argue religion? Like, you really can't. We've done it on the show. You will never change his mind. He will never change your mind.
Well, see, that's a part of me. It's kind of going to sound weird. I'm like an atheistic Buddhist because Buddhism is like 98% philosophy, so I can get behind the philosophy and ignore that little 2% that's mythology. So I'm like, I consider myself like an agnostic Buddhist or atheistic Buddhist, which is not a contradiction in my mind. So part of me is like, okay, I respect his right not to agree with it. And I'm not trying to change his mind on religion. I'm just trying to get him to see my point by using his religion as sort of a, how can you believe in this when you believe in that? That kind of thing.
Here's the thing, Mongo. Like, here's how it works with friends. Anthony and I, and Opie and I, and Anthony and Opie are all friends. We're friends for real. We all have the same opinions about certain things, and we all have different opinions about certain things. I've gotten into more debates with Ant than I have with Opal over social issues. And there's times where I disagree a lot with Anthony. But it never makes me dislike Anthony. And I really mean this. Never. Whether it's on something, whether we're talking about whether it was Trayvon Martin or certain things with guns where he feels differently than I do. And thank you very much, Mongo, for the call. We appreciate that. You're an honest guy and a good listener to the show. Thank you. But I never dislike Anthony for that. And I'm never like, fuck him, or I don't accept him. I accept him completely, even when I'm not into his opinion or I don't agree with it. I never want to say fuck you to Ant. I really don't. So if you have a friend that you can't just disagree with without him judging you for real, then fuck him. Fuck him. Like, Anthony and I live very different lifestyles in certain ways. And I never judge him for that. And you know what? Believe me, you think I don't know I'm a lot different than a lot of Ant's friends? He doesn't judge me either. Ope doesn't judge me. I could not be more different than Opie. He's a fucking married guy. He's happily married. He's got a hot wife and 2 fucking kids and a great apartment. He's happy being a dad and a husband. I am the polar opposite lifestyle-wise. I'm a piece of shit. And not once, and I really, in all the years I've known Opie, not once has he said, dude, what you're doing is wrong. Not once. He's asked me, like, would you ever settle down? And I'm like, I don't know. And he goes, yeah, you got to be ready. He doesn't give a shit. He's my friend. Not once have I ever encouraged him, you should cheat on your wife because it's not my lifestyle. Never. Like, we all have a weird acceptance of the differences in our lifestyle. And it's not just for the air, it's off the air. So if you don't have that understanding with your friends, then fuck them. Don't be friends with them. I'm not friends with anybody that tries to change who I am or doesn't accept who I am. Fuck them. I'm friends with a lot of people who don't agree with me. I'm friends with a lot of people who I don't agree with. You know, my ex-girlfriend and I, who was going to come in today and do this advice show with me, but she's in Jersey today. We have very different views politically. Ann Coulter is a friend of mine. And I agree with Ann on a lot of things. I think she's brilliant. And I disagree with her on a lot of things. But it never makes me dislike her. So that, I guess I don't want to repeat my point over and over. But I'm saying however intense your friendships are, however casual they are, if people are judging you and not accepting you, then you should have zero interaction with them. Let's see. Anonymous from New York. Oh, God, I hope it's not the computer hackers that are here to fuck with me. Hello.
Jim. I didn't want to give my name only because I have some pending legal things connected with. Okay,
cool. What's your docket number? All right, no, I'm kidding. Go ahead.
You know, that's the first time I've laughed in a couple of days, so I needed that. First, you're not a piece of shit. You're a power of example to a lot of people, especially people like me who suffer from the disease of addiction, and you're. I mean, all I can say is really the point of my call was to anybody out there. My problem started many years ago when I had a back problem, and rather than going for surgery, I was put on pain medication. Was taking it when I needed it, but then unfortunately started taking it when I didn't need it.
Sure.
And you build up, as you know, you build up a tolerance, immunity to it, and before you know it, instead of taking one every 4 to 6 hours, you're taking 4 to 6 every hour.
Yeah, absolutely.
And to anyone out there who's listening, and I could just tell from the calls you've been getting today, this is really it's a way widespread problem. Please, when your doctor offers you something, because a lot of times doctors offer things, they think they're helping you.
Yeah.
And I know certainly isn't this is any knock on my doctor. I'm sure he did it with good intentions, but we're people, we're humans, and especially if you have that addictive nature, you're bound to want to you want to, after a while, you don't want to just the pain to away, but you want to get high, and that's what it comes down to. And I was real nervous about calling in because I said, "Oh my God, I'm one of these paranoid schizophrenics." I said, "Oh my gosh, what happens if the DEA wants to come down to the studios and take a copy of this tape?"
They won't.
Hopefully that won't happen. But anyway, I just big fan. Listen to
Thank you.
To you guys going back to NEW days. I mean, I was devastated when you guys were off the air during that.
Thank
time.
you very much. So I don't mean to cut you off. We got to get to more people, but but thank you very much for the call, and I do appreciate it. Thank you, buddy.
I'm amazed how many of these calls you get.
You get a lot of, you know what? Because we joke around about it and stuff, but I think really that people know that you can call here, and maybe other shows aren't judgmental either, but you're not going to be judged here no matter what you're doing.
But on that subject, with everything that anyone can talk to you about, mostly relation stuff, but to get a lot of this, pain pill stuff.
Yeah, that's a common one, man.
Yeah.
Let's go to Matt in Connecticut. No, not Matt, not yet. Oh, yeah, it is Matt in Connecticut. I've been clean for 3 years. Is Suboxone a sham? Matt?
You there, Jimmy?
Yes, buddy, I'm here.
Okay. Ripping and running all my life since 18. I'm 53 right now. Finally got arrested, thank God, when I was 50 years old. Spent 42 days in the can. Went out, got out, stayed clean, but, didn't sleep for 3 months, no energy.
Yeah.
Finally went out to boxing. And I'm in a program. I chair meetings.
Sure.
And
what is Suboxone? What is Suboxone?
It prevents you from, actually, I guess it's got some sort of opiate in it, but it also prevents you from getting high on anything.
So let me ask you a question. You're 3 years sober. Why are you taking this?
Because I don't want to go through the agony of getting off it.
Now, why did you start? How long have you been taking it?
About a year and a half.
So now you started taking this for what? You were clean a year and a half. What were you trying to prevent yourself from getting high on?
Oh, I hadn't slept for about 8 months. Now, I guess I've been on it longer than that. I guess it's been about 2 years.
Okay.
I got out. Didn't sleep, had no energy. I guess if I waited the 6 or 8 months to completely get all the methadone out of my system, but I had no energy.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. Does Suboxone make you tired? What does it do?
No, the methadone withdrawal is literally can affect you for over a year.
So do you feel like that's something I'm not qualified for? Meaning I don't have experience with that, so I don't want to take the position that I know what I'm talking about when I don't. The Suboxone, there's an old expression, to thy own self be true. I can bullshit everybody and I can say what I want and words can come out of my mouth, and believe me, I have done all that stuff.
Sure.
But I have to know to myself that my motives for something are clean and good, meaning and honest. When I had my surgery and I took the Vicodin or whatever it was they gave me, and I knew in my heart of hearts for real that it was because I was in pain. There was no bullshitting myself. There was no trying to get high, and I threw them out when I was done. Motives are very, very important because we lie to ourselves. So you should ask yourself, why are you really taking this? Does this make you feel high at all? Honestly.
I don't know. I feel straight, but it's been so long since I've been straight. The only period of straightness I've had has been coming off the methadone. You know what I mean? I don't remember what it's like to be 100% straight.
So do you feel like you're still using?
No, I'm living a good life. I'm doing the right thing. These are prescribed. I mean, every 30 days I have to go give this guy clean urine in order to get a refill.
Sure.
So I live the program. It's just that this is a little, it's in the back of my head. Like
you feel like you're addicted to a substance.
Sure. And here I am in a program and working the program.
Sure.
Yeah, if I didn't have my Suboxone in the morning, I would suffer.
So you feel maybe deep down, you feel like, God, I'm full of shit. There's a lie happening here. I knew a guy one time years ago in meetings, in 12-step meetings, who lied about having leukemia. And I think I've talked about him before. And, a guy with really leukemia would talk to him in meetings and cry. And it was really emotional. And we all kind of got a really weird feeling. This guy's fucking lying. And he eventually confessed to everybody, which I liked that he did. And, he's just doing it for attention. But to live a lie like that around those people, and people who are sober are not perfect, people in 12-step program.
No, not at all.
But there should be that one bond we all share where we all know that we are all people who, if life was fair, we wouldn't be alive. I always say, life's not fair. And then somebody said, yeah, it's not. If life was fair, I'd be dead, talking about themselves. And they were right. If life was fair, I would not have been the selfish fuck I was and as dysfunctional as I was and had the great life I had. So, you have to make sure that you're being honest, dude. I would suggest getting off that stuff and then reevaluating how long you've been on it and what your sobriety date is. And if you feel like you're still going to keep your original sobriety date, okay, cool. But just honestly walk through it with a sponsor. That would be my suggestion. But get off it.
I know. Yeah,
I would suggest.
That's another thing. I'm not being honest with my sponsor, who I should be.
Yeah, dude. You know what?
I know. You got to get going. But.
No. I do. But I'll say this: if it comes to as Marlon Brando said in Apocalypse Now, if is the middle word in life. If it turns out that this was not sober behavior and you've been lying to yourself, and if it turns out that you got to come clean with your sponsor and maybe even change your date.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Because all that matters is staying sober and staying alive. Greg Giraldo, who I loved, I remember his sobriety date being tattooed on his arm. When he first got sober, he tattooed it. And then he relapsed a bunch of times, and he still had the sobriety date tattooed on his arm.
Right.
And I just remember thinking how unimportant. Like, the date is great, and it gives us a little ego. Hey, I got 10 years, I got blah.
Yeah.
But it didn't matter. The number didn't matter because he was still using. And
I think what would matter would be the honesty I felt getting that new clean date.
Of course, dude. And you would help somebody. If you feel like, and it comes down to you and your sponsor agree, that you're being dishonest, and you're not living a sober life, you're living a life of self-delusion, then you would help somebody else by knocking yourself off the pedestal and going, look, I fucked up, but I'm here. People would love you for the honesty. Yeah. It's an honest, humbling thing, but eventually, as they say, you know, we see how our experience can benefit others. I got to run, buddy, but I would always suggest honesty when it comes to shit like that, because you will help somebody else, and it's never going to hurt you to be honest. So good luck, my friend, and I appreciate the call. That was a very honest, a honest phone call. Well, let's talk to Andrew in Iowa, whose girlfriend is talking to her ex.
Hey, what's up, Jimmy?
Hi, buddy.
Yeah, I just started seeing this chick for a couple months now, and she still hangs out with her ex-boyfriend from college. And I don't want to be the jealous type, but it's, you know, it kind of pisses me off.
How long are you with her?
Just 2 months now.
How long was she with him?
2 years.
Do you trust that she's not fucking him?
That's the thing. I don't know. She goes I leave for work for 3 days, and so she goes to like a trivia night at a bar every Wednesday night. And
does she invite you?
Well, I'm out of town.
I don't know if I'm comfortable with that if I'm you. I don't know. Because like some people, like I'm friends with a couple of my exes, and I don't do anything with them, and I value them very much as people. So there are people that can have those friendships. And I found out a lot of times I don't trust other people because I'm not trustworthy. Like, I assume girls are cheating because I know I'm sexting with other girls or I'm cheating. And then there's times where I just know that they're cheating cunts and I'm right. You know, so I would suggest talking to her about it and seeing how she responds. She might go, hey, look, you're being a little jealous here. He's genuinely my friend. I have zero sexual attraction for him. And there are people that can do that and be honest about it. But if you feel she's bullshitting you or you feel something's wrong, you might be right. So definitely bring it up to her. Don't just sit on it.
Right on.
Okay?
Thanks, bud.
You're welcome, man. And I hope she's not banging this guy. And Pete in Massachusetts, alcoholic, been in your room for 4 days. What's going on, Pete?
I was sober for 10 years and relapsed like a year ago. And I'm not doing too good, so I thought I'd give you a call.
Well, Pete, let me ask you. Obviously, you relapsed. I'm going to guess that something in your sobriety was lacking, or there was something you weren't doing. Was it a slow process which led you out there?
My wife left me, and then my father died like 2 months later.
So the sickness of us is we take these tragic events, these human events, and we use them. That's how fucking how insidious it is. The sick part of us takes these things and uses them as an excuse to go out and destroy ourselves.
Yeah, so I got a DUI like a year ago, and I lost my job.
So it's not any better out there.
What?
It's not any better out there than it was. Meaning when you relapse, it's just as bad out there as they told you it would be.
Yeah, like I said, I got a DUI, and then I lost my job, and...
Well, Pete, I would say this, because you know... sometimes we need a little kick in the ass or a little boost, but you know what the answer is. You know what you need to do. Obviously, you know you made a mistake. There was something that you missed the first time around, but you're alive. Right now, you're on the phone with me. You're not dead. You know where you need to go, and you know you need to just emotionally vomit it and tell people what you've been doing, and you fucked up. As of today, you've lived through it, so you have to go back, and you have to start over. But it can be done.
I don't really feel like doing that.
Well, I know that. None of us do. Nobody wants to do that, Pete. Nobody gets sober because they want it. God, things are terrific. You know that, Pete. You were around long enough. It's humbling. It sucks. It's overwhelming. But look where you are right now. This is where your best thinking got you. You obviously care because you picked up the phone. You called in today. So you do give a shit. Your life's not over. Your dad dying is an unchangeable, sad fact. But, people die, dude. It stinks. And you're going to, believe me, you'll see him soon enough. But don't hurry
I'm not blaming that.
No, I know.
It was like a 1-2 punch. It was like...
Right.
she left me, and then he died, and she wouldn't let the kids go to the funeral, and it was really fucked up.
And these are all unpleasant things, but they are circumstances and they are things. Meaning, not that they're not real and not that they don't hurt, but none of them are why you're drinking. And you know that deep down. You were sober long enough. Like, guys who are sober long term can trick themselves even better because you know all the lingo. You deep down know how people are going to come at you with sober advice. So we learn how to sidestep that sober advice. You know, they say, like, sometimes the healthier I get, the smarter it gets. And the craftier it gets. So maybe you don't want to, or you don't think you want to, but you wouldn't have picked up this phone and called in today if you were happy where you are.
No, I'm not happy, that's for sure.
So what's the worst that can happen if you say, okay, I put it down, I go back, I humble myself, I start fresh. It looks like, oh my God, I'm going back into this overwhelming situation. But what you're doing is you're walking out of this dark, horrible cellar into a real life again. Walk back into the life you should be having. This is not where you're supposed to be. You sidetracked and you fucked up. But here's the good news. You didn't flip your car and kill 3 people. You're alive. You're not dead. You're not in jail. So there's here's how it ends for us. Jails, institutions, and death. And you know that. You know that. That's not the people don't make that up. That's not a 12-stepper bullshit. That's the real thing. And I've seen enough people commit suicide and enough people die of this thing. You are not dead and you're not in prison. And you're not in an institution. So there is still a life for you to be had.
Yeah, maybe.
No, definitely. There's not a maybe. Definitely, there is a life for you to have that's real and good and productive. You know, what do they say? Faith moves mountains, but bring a shovel. You got to take that step, dude. You got to fucking get out of your fucking apartment and go to the place you need to go to where people get sober.
I just can't stop drinking. I can't stop. It's like...
I know.
I just can't fucking stop. It's like I'm drinking right now. I can't.
Then what you
stop, but I fucking can't.
I know. That's what alcoholism is, brother. That's why we get fucked up, because we can't stop. We go for help because we can't stop. And if we stop, we can't stay stopped. And even if we stay stopped, we're not happy. We're not content.
Yeah, and then the only time I fucking go out is like to fucking buy booze or get a hooker. It's fucked up. And my fucking kids don't want to see me. It's all fucked up. I swear to God, I really fucking can't take it anymore.
Then what you need to do, and I know you can't, and they say, what do they say? We come to the jumping off place. We can't picture life with alcohol or without it, and we wish for the end. I mean, and that's what they say, and they're right, and that's where you are. You're at the jumping off place. So you called into the show today. Maybe it doesn't seem like a good sign to you, but it is a good thing, and it's a real thing. It's not an accident. You know what you need to do, and you know you can do it. You can't stop drinking on your own. Of course not, dude. It's unbeatable. It is unbeatable. Through single-handed combat, we always lose, and we always will lose. That's why we get help, and that's why we go to detox, and we go to rehab, or we do all this stuff. But you know what you have to do. I don't believe me. Don't want to cut you off, but the show will. We will get cut off because it's 11. It's 5:11. We have to wrap now.
Yeah, you have a read, and we got to double up for Ron and Fez.
Okay. Well, one more. So just Pete, you picked up the phone. You can do this, not on your own, but you can do it. So don't give up on living because you picked up the phone. So you've already taken a small step, whether you realize it or not. So why don't you do something and then call in next week or the week after and give us a progress update?
I don't know. I don't know what to do.
You do know what to do. It's scary.
I'm telling you, I don't. I know what to do, but I don't want to do it.
There you go. That is honest. There's a big difference between I know what I got to do and don't want to, and I don't know what to do. One is helpless and one is resistant. You're not helpless. You know what the answer is. It's unpleasant. But, dude, booze is always going to be there, Pete. You can always go back to drinking. You've proven that. So why don't you try the 90-day thing? You know, just give it 90 days, fucking take a breather, talk to some sober people, and then see where you are. Just give yourself a little bit of a fucking breather, because you're spiraling down, and you can get off this elevator whenever you want.
I don't know. I appreciate your help. I'll see what happens.
Okay, well, give us a call. If you're doing okay next week, give us a call. I would suggest call somebody who you know and who cares for you and can either help take you to a detox or a meeting or a rehab. Okay, buddy?
Okay.
And call us back next week. I'm not just saying that to be polite.
Okay.
Be good, Pete. All right, well, thank you, everyone, for the call. And again, I didn't mean to rush Pete, but again, you know, there's time limit on this show, unfortunately. But Steven Singer has really done it this time. Good friend of our show. He's offering FedEx shipping to Canada, finally. Yes, that's right, Canada. You can now shop online, IHateStevenSinger.com, and have your gifts shipped to Canada. So whether you're in Canada or the U.S., you can find Steven online 24/7 at IHateStevenSinger.com. Steven Singer Jewelers has a beautiful selection of gifts, perfect for Mother's Day, which is coming right up. This year, Steven really come through with a beautiful super silver Argentium mother and child diamond necklace. It's only $149. So whether you're shopping for your mom, your wife, your mother-in-law, your sister, whoever the woman is, if her pussy has opened up and a living thing has fallen out of it, Steven is going to make this Mother's Day so easy. So don't fuck it up. Give mom a gift that's going to last a lifetime. Go right online to IHateStevenSinger.com and check out the super silver Argentium mother and child diamond necklace. This beautiful necklace is going to make her Mother's Day special. Visit Steven Singer Jewelers, the other corner of 8th and Walnut, 888-IHateStevenSinger.com, or I Hate Stevens, 188 I Hate Steven Singer is the phone number. I apologize. And IHateStevenSinger.com. And thank you, everyone, for your calls. And to you guys out there